Okay, welcome back to the lip kit installs. I've got everything wrapped, the front lip, the side skirts, the rear bumper aprons. It's ready to go. Let me give you a walkthrough on some of the errors and mistakes that I make when I was wrapping it. Whoops. Oh my God. Show you a little bit of the hardware, get that stuff, everything that goes with it to get it installed. I'm gonna get the car in the garage and then we're gonna get it lifted up and we're pretty much ready to go. So this is the rear bumper apron hardware. Actually, no, this is the side skirt. So these little pieces here are actually gonna go on to this little lip here. So that's actually gonna protect the body panel from getting rubbed up against the plastic. So that'll protect it there. On the same for the rear bumper aprons, I have two pieces. So this sticky tape will actually go on the inside of it here. And that'll actually stick against the bumper. And I also have another protectant. This thing will also go on the top. So it'll just protect, give it a little bit extra protection, which I'm actually pretty excited about. When I first actually tried to fit these up next to the car, I realized that there was a little gap between this piece and the body. And I was wondering, like, is there a way to get rid of this gap? Because it's pretty noticeable. Then I realized that you have these things which are gonna help. So additionally, I got the install instructions. Everything's pretty straightforward. There's not much I really need to do. It's just really lining things up, getting it perfect. You could actually start to see where some of the inlays were. So this was like one of the inlays. This is where I did it in 3 pieces. So I did this whole side, and then I did this front, and I did the whole side again around here. So I ended up breaking it up into multiple pieces. I realized it was gonna be a little easier if I did it this way. So I decided to do that, but overall it turned out okay. I did have some problems on this side when I was tucking it in here. It just wasn't sticking. And I'm not sure if it wasn't a clean enough surface or if I just tried to stretch it too much. So what I had to do is take a razor and just kind of cut into this edge to remove all that air. And I pushed it in and you can't really see it, so it doesn't bother me. I made a mistake right here too. On this piece, when I was doing the knifeless tape, I actually put it too low. And so I had to stretch this way too far over the top. And it was really frustrating to try to get it tucked perfectly. So it's got these like crow feet thing going on. Because this is so low and it's underneath, you're probably not gonna see it. And at that point I was just like, it's gonna be okay. But everything else was fine. I mean, tucking it in over the top, this was pretty tough too. I mean, getting it perfect was just one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm ready to be done with this. I had spent plenty of time on it already. On the upside, these pieces are actually going to cover it. And so I didn't realize that to begin with, but I got a win there. So I will actually end up covering those pieces with that extra rubber piece, and you won't even notice it. And as far as the general inlays, I mean, they look pretty good. You really can't see them. I'm really happy with how generally the inlays turned out, and the knifeless tape was absolutely perfect. So let's get these things installed. So because I don't have the quick jacks just yet, I do have to manually lift up the car, which takes a little bit more time, but it's not that bad. My favorite part of the install is probably taking up the wheels. There's something about the sound of an impact wrench that just sounds so cool. Is this just me? Let me know in the comments. Because those rear bumper aprons are attaching with a tape adhesive, you have to make sure that bumper is clean, otherwise it will not stick. I'm also cleaning the rear bumper aprons. This rubber piece that goes on the inside of the bumper apron to protect the bumper does use adhesive to stick to that apron, so you want to make sure that's clean so that also doesn't fail. I actually didn't have the instructions for the rear bumper apron, so when I put this other adhesive on to actually stick to the bumper, I decided to go with the yellow tape out so that way it was easier to pull out when I installed it. Before you actually install, you need to remove the pop clip from the bottom of the back bumper. That's actually going to attach to the bumper apron and keep it in place so it doesn't move when you go to screw it in. It's helpful to have somebody hold the other side so that way when you screw it in, it's perfectly straight, and then you can peel back that yellow tape and make sure you push in the adhesive. It is pressure sensitive, so you have to push really hard to get it to stick really well. The beginning of the side skirts have the same process as this bumper apron, so you do have to install that rubber piece, so you have to make sure it's clean so that rubber piece sticks to it very well and does not fail. When you're putting on the side skirts on the car, I used a piece of like a box to put up the front, that way I could line up the back and screw the back in first. And there's actually a crease that's on the actual side skirt that you could use as a guide to follow it all the way up the car to make sure it's straight. And yes, I'm using a drill, but the torque setting's on 1. With the front lip, there's a bolt and this L-shaped bracket that you have to install on both sides. It's the same kind of bracket that goes on the rear bumper apron, and it's actually going to attach to the bottom of the front lip to help you keep it straight. For the front lip, there's 2 pop clips in the middle of the bumper that's going to attach it to start, and that's going to keep it centered. Then you're going to work yourself from the outside in. Now, the instructions do say to use a heat gun to help shape it to the bumper. I didn't find it necessary, and there was no gaps, and it was perfectly straight. And that's really all there is to install this lip kit. So It does take a little bit of time just to get alignment right and to get things straight, but overall it's totally worth the effort, and these look so good. I mean, it just totally elevates the aggressive look of the STi, and I'm super happy about how it turned out. So I've had the kit installed for about a week and a half. It's held up really well. It looks so aggressive. You can see those imperfections on the side skirt and the front bumper with the crow's feet a little bit from the vinyl wrap, but unless you know it's there, you won't see it. And anyone who actually has seen it has complimented the look on the lip kit, and they don't even know that they're there. Thanks so much for watching. I do have a couple parts on pre-order that I cannot wait to get installed on this STi. They are cosmetic mods. If you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications.